I don't know how to start this video.
Shaken.
Hi everybody, it's me, Adele Birdee, and I'm back with another video. I know this video will probably be coming out a little late. I've just been having some trouble getting things going, I guess. And that is what I'm here to talk to you about today. So as you can see from the title, I will be talking about mental illness, and specifically my mental illness. So I have tried to film this video already about 2 other times. Originally the video was going to be completely unedited. I didn't want to have any editing whatsoever, just to have more of a raw feel, but I was just rambling a lot and I didn't really have any cohesive thoughts, and you know, it ended up being like an hour and a half long, and I didn't even want to sit there editing it and listening to it because I didn't find it very entertaining. I was just kind of rambling and not keeping things together. So I have decided to record it now. This is my second time after that previous time, so 3rd time recording this. I will be putting in edits every now and then just to keep the video going. You know, if I say too much or if I ramble too much, I will be putting edits in there. So I am sorry that I have gone away from my original plan, but it's just for the quality of the video. If you are still interested in having a big sit-down discussion video like that, I have no problem doing that, so just leave a comment down below. But I just didn't think that it would be very interesting, and I don't think that'd be a very good introduction to maybe getting an understanding on my mental illness and my story, I guess. And there's another thing too, as of the moment of me recording this, I'm not eligible for monetization, but when I do become eligible, this video will not be monetized, just simply because it does talk about mental illness and, you know, my struggle, and I think that that can kind of be a topic that people may click on, and it could gain some traction, and I don't think that that's very fair to put monetization on that. So again, it's not eligible right now, but when I do become eligible, I will be taking the monetization off of this video specifically. Just wanted to let you know. I don't really know where to start with this video. I don't really know what has made me feel like I need to make this video. Nothing entirely crazy has been going on in my life. I'm not in any sort of trouble. I'm not having a really hard time. I don't know really what brought on making me want to make this video, but I just feel like I've needed to talk about it for a while, and my very close friends and my very close family know that I do have mental illness, but I guess because I've had such trouble recording and editing and getting the motivation to do things for YouTube, I guess maybe I have wanted to give a little bit of an explanation. So specifically, I have been clinically diagnosed with depression, and I originally did have clinical anxiety, but I seem to have gotten that under, like, in check since having better home situations and having better people that I've been around. I don't think it has ever gone away, because it's, you know, when you have something, you kind of have it, right? I don't think my anxiety has completely gone away, but I have gotten it in check just simply because of how safe I am now. I don't have anxiety for my safety anymore, which I did at the time when I was diagnosed. I did mention in my tattoo video that I was in an abusive relationship, and it was like an abusive, manipulative relationship, and I think that definitely helped in amping up whatever I had at the time. I think that I already did have depression, but it wasn't really that bad. You know, regular kind of worried about school, worried about home life, that kind of thing. But I did go through a very major time in my life where I was very mentally and physically unhealthy because of the relationship that I was in. Not to say that it's the cause. I think that it was just something that I was maybe born with, because I just maybe have like a chemical imbalance in my brain. I don't really know, but I know that it definitely didn't help, and that still happens every now and then when I have certain times that don't really help with my mental makeup, I guess. So again, it's not to say that that's the cause, it's just simply to say that that probably didn't help at the time that I was going through all that. So I was prescribed medication, just a little bit of background. I was prescribed antidepressants for my depression, but after probably about 6 to 8 months of taking them, I did stop taking them because I felt like I didn't need them anymore. My personal experience with them was very helpful. They did help me kind of get out of my rut, my hole that I was in essentially. But as soon as I did get out of that hole, I felt like I didn't need them anymore, and I felt that they were very intrusive in my life, and they just kind of, to put it as simply as possible, I just kind of felt like a robot all the time. I didn't feel like I had any emotion, and that was causing problems in my life, in my relationships, and I just noticed a very big difference. But that's just me personally. I mean, I'm sure that there are plenty, and I know plenty of people that medication works on, and it did at the time, but I didn't feel like I needed to continue to take them. If I ever need to again, I probably have no problem doing that. I just have to make sure I look after myself first and, don't put medication first. If I don't feel like they're helping me anymore, then I full-heartedly believe that I shouldn't be taking them anymore. And that's just, again, my personal opinion and where I was at the time. I need to turn the sound off on my phone. Sorry, I have notes here just to make sure that I don't ramble. Once again, I felt like I was a robot and I didn't really have any feeling. It was very helpful because at the time I was just so in a low point that I wasn't going to school, I wasn't working, I was really just laying around sleeping all the time, and I was just very upset all the time. So it did help me get over that lump, and it did help me, contribute to society. Because at the time I really wasn't. I wasn't able to function just because of how severe my depression was. So when I had gotten over that feeling, when I had, gotten secure in school, when I had gotten secure with a job and gotten secure out of my relationship and into a new one, it just felt like the right time to get off, and it was my own decision to get off of them. It was extremely hard to get any sort of motivation. I was weaning off of my medication. I had entirely new friends because of just the people that I was with at the time and the people that I had attracted during my depression. They just weren't good people. I had finally found people that were supporting me through my struggle that I was going through. And my dog is getting into my laundry. And through all the support, I have found some of my best friends in my entire life. They helped me work out, what was perfectly normal and okay and what was not okay. I really wasn't able to see the right and the wrong in people's actions, just because of the mindset that I was in. So they did help me in learning, what maybe somebody was doing, if somebody was doing something that maybe was manipulating me, or what somebody was actually doing to help me. It was a very confusing time in my life, and the support that I had was very helpful. But through all that, through even all the support and everything, I still had depression spells, and I still have depression spells, and I'm most stable that I've ever been in my entire life now that I've ever been. But I still get spells, and maybe I'm in one right now, and that's why I feel like I need to make this video. They still come back, and my dog's in my laundry basket. Bosco! They still come back, and sometimes they can be more severe, just like any depression and just like any stress or anxiety. I feel like it can be amplified if you have multiple things going on in your life, right? And that's what mine does too. I don't have a specific trigger, because even if something's going perfectly fine, I can still get a depression spell, and I just have to wait it out. I do have a couple things that I do try to do in case I do have a depression spell and I need to get some more motivation. These are just things that I try and do, and they don't entirely always work, but they are just a couple things that I like to keep in mind whenever I am maybe having a rough time. So I will share them with you. There are 5 things that I kind of keep in mind. Number 1 is challenge yourself. So a lot of the time I am just always so tired. I like to sleep a lot. I enjoy sleeping, but maybe I'll challenge myself that day by setting my alarm for, an earlier time. Instead of just never setting an alarm, maybe I'll set an alarm for 11 or 10, but I usually sleep until noon or 1. But if I want to challenge myself that day, maybe I'll set it and I'll try and get up and I'll try and go and make coffee or something. And that can be in other places too. I know back when I was going through my big depression spell, when I was on my medication, a lot of my struggles were with keeping the house clean, cooking for myself, and keeping myself clean, having personal hygiene. I just did not have the energy, and it physically hurt me to walk around and do these things, and I would challenge myself every now and then to, go take a bath, don't take a shower, go take a bath, or at least go and do a couple of dishes, something like that. At least challenge yourself to get something done. Number 2 is do things that you like. I think a lot of the time I should find motivation, and I find motivation when I reward myself for the things that I have done. It gives me personal motivation, and it kind of boosts my confidence when I reward myself for doing something, even if it's the smallest thing, even if it's, taking a shower or cooking a meal. I mean, normally that isn't something that you should just reward yourself for, but if that is something that you're struggling with, I feel like you should reward yourself. So what I would end up doing is I would do the things that I like. So I would play video games for a couple hours, or I would, sleep or take a nap, shop online, or something. Anything that you do that you like, I feel like you should reward yourself for it. When you have these spells, I feel like you should do the things that you want to do, as long as they're not hurting yourself or hurting any other person. I feel like you should be able to do those things. I feel like you should reward yourself in normal life, not when you're just going through your depression spells, because doing the things you like keeps you happy, and I think that that's a really important thing to keep in mind. Number 3, keep a journal. So I love this, and I still do this to this day. Keep a journal of all my thoughts and all my feelings, and even if I just find something online, if I'm scrolling Tumblr and I find something online, a nice quote or something that I want to keep in mind, or I look at a lot of things online for positive mantras, stuff like that. I write them down in this journal, and I think it is really important to keep a journal, especially if you're not entirely comfortable with talking with somebody. I don't mind either way. I like talking to people, but I also know that certain things that maybe I feel maybe are, more personal, and maybe that they're something that I shouldn't or can't or don't want to share with somebody else. So, and that's perfectly okay, and I feel like if you write them down in a journal and you feel comfortable doing that, I feel like you totally should. And who's it gonna hurt, right? It's just writing. It just helps get your feelings out, and sometimes I actually feel lighter, I have a weight lifted off my chest or my shoulders after I write something out, and I think that can be really important for people. Number 4 is talking with somebody. So this one comes kind of hand in hand with the journal, but maybe you feel more relief talking to somebody, and this is for me personally. I like talking things out. I like hearing what people have to say. I like hearing and giving advice. I love that kind of thing, and I love that kind of interaction between people. So I've always liked talking with people, and through my depression I've always talked to counselors, community counselors. I liked more of the down-to-earth community counselors. that deal with youth, and that's what I want to do as well. So I loved talking to people, and I think that talking to somebody is very beneficial. Another tip that I have found is that if you want to talk to somebody specifically but you don't feel comfortable speaking to them, you could write in your journal and then just pass them the journal, or write on a piece of paper, or do something to initiate the conversation, and then maybe they can take over from there. So that is a good tip in case you maybe are not comfortable, or you want to be but you don't know how to be, so keep that in mind. Number 5 is the hardest one to find, but I feel like it's the most important. Number 5 is find self-confidence. So this one I still struggle with to this day. It never really sticks, and when it does stick, it doesn't stick for very long. I think that's just human nature. Even the most confident people have moments where they slip up every now and then, and I feel like that's important to remember. I mean, it happens, and you just have to keep that in mind. So finding self-confidence, I feel like, is one of the most important steps. If you have self-confidence, you have confidence in that you'll be okay, and that you will make it through this hard time. I struggled so much finding that confidence, and I struggled so much trying to remind myself that everything was going to be okay, that I could make it through, and that I have friends and family and people who love me. I struggled so much with that. Why are you crying? Why are you crying? So it's still hard to find. Sorry, I had to put my dog away. So a lot of the times I find self-confidence by looking back at the things that I've done. I think about, I've started a YouTube channel. I do makeup for people. I'm going to be doing makeup for my aunt's wedding. I do spoken word. I have an amazing partner. I have a cool apartment. I feel like you shouldn't put materialistic importance on things, but I have a stable life. I have nice things. I have gotten through so many bad previous patches in my life, and I think that holds a lot of self-confidence. You look back at the things that you've done and how far you've come, and you can think about how far you can go from there. Those are the 5 tips that I have for finding some motivation during those tough times. Again, those are just a couple things that I find helpful and find useful, and they don't always work, but I try them every single time I'm having a hard time. And they helped me even get the guts to record this video 3 times. I do want to say one last thing. If there is anybody out there who is maybe struggling with mental illness, or even if they're just struggling, even if something's just stressful in your life, I do want to extend a hand and say that I am here if you ever want to talk, if you ever feel comfortable talking with me. I want to be that person for somebody. I would love to be that person for somebody. And I mean, again, if you just want to leave comments about what your mental health journey has been like, or if you want to leave tips and tricks for keeping motivation, please leave a comment down below. I'm not a professional in the slightest, but I've seen enough counselors, and I have my own journey and I have my own story that I can base off of, and sometimes you just need a third-party person to look in and see your situation. So again, if there is anybody who's struggling, or if there's anybody who just needs to get something off their chest or talk, anything, I feel like I have to, and I really do want to offer my help and offer my services to anybody who needs it. Yeah, I don't know. That's really all. So I am sorry that this video is going to be a little bit late. It's just this is kind of the reason why. I've just been kind of having a spell recently, and I was really stressing out about what kind of video to make. My video might as well talk about why I've been struggling. So yeah, I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something about me today. If you do have any comments, questions, or concerns, or if you had a part in the video you liked, feel free to leave a comment down below, or leave a like on the like button. If you like me and if you like my content, feel free to hit the subscribe button. Next week's video is probably going to be a makeup tutorial video. I have a wedding to go to next week, so I am probably going to be doing my makeup to show you the flapper style makeup tutorial that I'll be doing for the wedding. So stay tuned for that. So yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. Bye!